ready?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
All right. Welcome back to part 2 of an update with in Prison Talk with Jamie Mead and
Emma Charleston.
And to pick up where we left off, I was talking about how I arrived at the school and the Secretary Rivera told me
They
they
had
didn't
nothing
have
to tell you?
anything to say, and that was Thursday.
Yeah.
And I want to go back because I left something out that during our original conversation, and I'm trying to be quick because I have a law library call out at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, and right now it's about 8:36, I think, somewhere around there. But when we were having our initial conversation before Heather Gay came on Zoom or face-to-face or whatever you want to call it, I told the principal that I could not make that agreement. All correspondence and all this. I said, it's not a correspondence program, it's distance learning.
Yeah.
And I said, but you know what? If you can get CTS to agree, I said, I don't care whatever it is, as long as I get to finish my degree and get my education. And I just want our listeners to know that. I told him, whatever you can make happen, make happen.
Yeah.
And, that even appeared to agitate him.
Yeah.
Because I was agreeing with him. And I was compromising with him, whatever he wants. But I said, I can't make that.
Do they expect you to, like, crack up? I don't know if that's an American term in Australia.
Yeah.
Crack up, lose the plot.
Yeah. I think they expect me just to blow a gasket or whatever you want to
and then
say.
just get it canceled altogether.
And it just irritates them that I can hold a conversation, a civilized conversation with them. And actually, half of the time, sound more educated, more reasonable than them.
Yeah.
And they don't like that. They don't like that. That's probably what they fear.
Yeah.
An educated person that's incarcerated. Because you figure in corrections.
To be fair, though, Jamie, to be fair.
Yeah.
To be fair. If you've got, and assuming that everyone educated in prison fits the stereotype of the big bad criminal, they're in prison, that's where they need to be. If you've got a bunch of those kind of men and women, stereotypically educated as well, they are more threatening, I suppose. So is that where they're sort of coming from? Like the idea of these educated criminals are going to be 10 times as worse?
Well, actually, it can be. There are criminological psychologists, and Dr. Stanton E. Sam now does mention those individuals, but those individuals usually have the education before they come to prison.
Yeah, okay.
Research demonstrates that those who earn an education after in prison are highly unlikely. And earning a master's degree, there's research data that show it's a 0% recidivism rate.
Yeah.
You're more you're less likely to commit a traffic violation.
Yeah.
If released.
Yeah.
And that's you add that onto the fact that lifers, once a lifer serves over 10 years, 20 years, their recidivism rate is extremely low as it is.
Yeah.
Because if you give them a second chance, they're not going to mess it up.
No.
It's rare that they mess it up.
Yeah.
Now getting back to the conversation, I did meet, and I do want to bring this up, Monday, which would have been the 6th, March the 6th. I saw Warden Willis Chapman in the unit.
Yeah.
I went to him. I asked him 2 questions. I asked him about the visits, our visitation going back to pre-COVID normalcy, and he said yes.
That's good.
I asked for a date. He didn't have a date. I said, well, also, now you got to remember, to our listeners, I don't speak to these individuals. They don't know who I am unless I tell them who I am, but they know my name.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I also want to ask you about my master's degree program.
Yeah.
I said, do you support it? And he was like, I've been getting a lot of emails about it from Lansing.
Yeah.
He said, absolutely. He said, I support it 100%. He said, I want it here.
Yeah.
And he said, and I told him about Eastern Michigan possibly partnering with CTS to offer a dual degree, that they might be interested.
That'd be good.
And he said, that would be great. He's going on and on.
Yeah.
So even the warden at the
Yeah.
was interested. So now going back to after being told that they didn't want to go
Yeah.
over my agreement, I wrote Heather Gay
Mm-hmm.
a email, and well, you wrote it for me over the phone. Well, no, I sent that one through JPay to you, just sent to her, and I explained to her. I told her what they were saying prior to our meeting, and I said I find it very odd now that after being told that they will download things, then now all of a sudden the computer system won't let them download it.
Yeah.
And nothing has changed on the computer. So they were downloading 6 months ago, but now they can't download now, which is highly unlikely.
Yeah.
And what made it such a bold-faced lie, they don't have a memory stick to attempt it. They keep telling her they don't have a memory stick, but on the other hand saying, we can't download because the computer won't let us.
Yeah.
So what is it?
If you're going to lie, make it believable.
Yes, I told Heather Gay in the email that this appears to be a tactic not to have to do what you told them to do.
Yeah.
I said, you know what would be the best thing to do? You come down to the facility, attempt to download it. If it downloads, would you hold them accountable for lying to you? That would solve every problem. That would solve all this drama.
This lack of accountability is quite disturbing.
Yeah,
it's quite disturbing. But
would there be accountability for them lying?
Yeah.
And that's all she has to do. Show up to the facility, say, all right, this is the computer you've been using. I'm going to download it. I got a USB right here with me, a memory stick. And let's see if we can download this.
Now we're at
if
7.
If it downloads, then they should be held accountable.
They should definitely be held accountable, even if just do your bloody job. But we're at 7 minutes, so now I think we should jump forward. So that was that day. What was it? The very next day you rang me and I had to. You dictated an email.
Yes, the very next day, which would have been Friday. No. Yeah, it would have been Friday. I discovered someone overheard, a credible source, overheard school staff talking about attempting to transfer me. And they were going to talk to the transfer coordinator. Well, that was Monday. That was actually Monday.
Yeah,
Monday or Tuesday.
That they overheard the conversation.
So that would have been 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, March the 13th.
Yeah.
It was allegedly said that, they're going to talk to the transfer coordinator to get me transferred.
Yeah.
Well, on Tuesday, the next day, it was discovered because I'm in the dog program, the leader dog for the blind, and I'm in a prison fellowship academy 1-year program.
Yeah.
Both of those programs, they put holds on you to prevent you from being transferred, accidentally transferred or intentionally transferred.
Yeah.
Well, those are put on by staff that oversee the program.
Yeah.
Well, and I also had a CFA hold, educational hold, put on me by education manager Heather Gay.
Yeah. So basically you had 3 sets of holds on you that essentially said you cannot be transferred from that facility until those programs are completed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless I get in trouble.
Yeah.
Or the inspector or deputy warden request it because I've been implicated in something or anything. Well, all those holds were removed.
Yeah.
And so it was suspected that school staff removed them in their attempt
to get rid of you.
Now, how can a school staff remove their supervisor's hold?
Well, they don't have to listen to their supervisor, which is clearly apparent by everything that's happened. Yeah. So of course it stands to reason they would imagine they could remove the hold as well.
Now the dog program is under special programs. That is a different department. So they stepped over their boundary and removed that hold.
Yeah.
The Prison Fellowship Academy is in the chaplain, under the chaplain. They overstepped him.
Yeah.
And took off that hold.
Yeah.
Now these holds have been put back on me, except the CFA hold, which I wrote Heather Gay and told her.
Yeah.
Now, I told Heather Gay in the email, just look.
Yeah.
Because every person that gets on the computer has to use their login information.
Yeah.
That login information should tell you exactly who removed that hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Why not hold them accountable? Make an example out of one of them.
At least.
At least. So, that's all they have to do. If you want to stop this, and why would the Department of Corrections employees at the level, the facility level, just oppose all this?
So, they don't just oppose it. They seem to be so vehemently against it that it just blows my mind.
And you said it was could it be personal?
It has to be personal. Why would you extend so much time?
I do believe it went to partially that it is intentional now towards me.
Of course it is.
But originally, Dwight Henley had the same problems. Joseph Richmond had the same problems. Bruce Michaels had the same problems. We were all trying to get a bachelor's degree and kept being transferred.
Yeah.
Because principals believed that we were lifers, that we should not be able to get it. And for all of our listeners, we were all paying for it ourselves. We had supporters.
Yeah.
The state was paying not one penny for it.
Well, as it stands at the moment, you're getting all your schoolwork through me, through JPay, essentially, or are you getting something from the facility itself?
Even after the agreement was made, I just went over there yesterday, which was, the 15th?
Yeah.
Or 16th? I went over there yesterday, and wow, Miss Gamble said, I don't have anything downloaded. We don't have a memory stick.
So you still have nothing. So you're doing your school.
I still have nothing.
These people are unreal. And it's actually, I'm actually sending you this stuff. I've actually managed to email the authors of books that are in his syllabus. I've told them how much difficulty he's having getting his stuff. The the authors of the articles and the books are actually sending me the PDF what's the other one? Word documents of their work that he needs. And I then put it into JPay and send it to him. These people are unreal, and they're starting to irritate me because I'm spending a lot of my time doing their job, essentially. Anyway, I'm getting a bit ranty, and we're at 12 minutes.
But it's a shame that
it's ridiculous.
We're in the United States of America. This is supposed to be the advanced, civilized country. But we have people in departments that are supposed to support education that oppose it. And as I said before, I've been told because I'm a lifer, I shouldn't be able to do it. I've been told because I committed the crime, I shouldn't be able to get an education. Why are these people allowed to work in the Department of Corrections if that's their belief?
Yeah. Well, I've Googled some Department of Corrections. I've Googled some employees and they should be in there with you guys personally. So, anyway.
And I've went through this at multiple facilities. It's just not one employee. It's not just two. It's the culture of the Michigan Department of Corrections. They have developed a culture to oppose a prisoner who truly desires an education.
Is it all states?
And no, I don't know. I'm not sure with all the states.
But it's definitely
I know
Michigan.
other states do support college education.
Yeah.
Michigan.
You have 1 minute remaining.
For a long time.
Yeah.
And it's a sad thing that they don't want a prisoner to get an education. And it doesn't matter whether I have life or not.
Yeah.
If it's being paid for, they should support it.
Yeah. Or at least get out of the way and stop making it difficult. At least do that.
Well, our minute's coming up, and I do have a call out, so I would like to end it here. And hopefully, Emma can get these up on the podcast site and YouTube and Facebook quickly. Because this is very important that everyone knows where I'm at.
Is everybody picking up what he's putting down?
All right.
All right. Give us a call back, or I'll talk to you later.
You have a nice day, and I will call, and we will do this again soon. And everyone
that's that.
take care and keep listening.
Bye.